Right, let's dive straight into this explainer on social emotional learning, or SEL. If you're an educator, you already know the drill, right? Teaching is no longer just about cramming facts into heads while trying to keep the classroom from literally catching fire. The whole landscape is shifting. Today, we're looking at a deeply powerful framework, one that can honestly transform not just your daily lesson plans, but the actual life trajectory of your students.
Before we get into the weeds of strategy, I want you to sit with a pretty profound question. Are we just teaching subjects, or are we shaping human beings? I know, it sounds a bit philosophical, but what is the actual end game of your classroom? When your students pack up their bags at the end of the year, what are they taking with them? Is it just a letter grade in math, or is it the core survival skills they need to actually navigate the real world?
We have all had that one student. You know the one. Bright, incredibly capable, but they somehow still crash and burn. And it is almost never about their reading level. They stumble because they can't handle stress, or maybe they completely fall apart during a peer conflict. It proves one absolutely crucial point. Raw intellect just isn't enough anymore. A student's ultimate success relies way more on their emotional tool belt than just pure academic knowledge.
So, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover shaping humans, not just subjects, the 5 core SEL competencies, how to implement SEL daily, the evidence-based advantages, and finally, taking the first step.
All right, starting us off with Part 1, Shaping Humans, Not Just Subjects.
So, what exactly is SEL? Well, looking at the widely recognized CASEL framework, it's defined as the process of developing emotional intelligence, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. The key word there is process. This isn't just some one-off Friday assembly or an extra chore you've got to squeeze in before the bell rings. It's the continuous, foundational work of building critical human skills right alongside academic growth.
Moving right along to Part 2, the 5 core SEL competencies.
Think of these 5 competencies like building blocks that naturally sequence together. We start totally inward with self-awareness, basically understanding your own emotions and triggers. Then step 2 is self-management, actually keeping those emotions in check. From there, we move outward to step 3, social awareness, which is all about empathy. Step 4 brings in relationship skills like teamwork. And finally, step 5 is responsible decision-making. It's this really logical, beautiful flow from mastering the internal self to navigating the external world.
To bring this down to earth, let's anchor each of these abstract concepts to a real classroom behavior. Self-awareness looks like a student actively reflecting on a test rather than just shoving it into their backpack. Self-management? That's a kid using a quick breathing technique before an exam. Social awareness is simply respecting a classmate's totally different opinion during a debate. Relationship skills get built in group projects, especially when everyone has clearly defined roles. And responsible decision-making happens in real time, like when a student chooses honesty over copying a friend's homework. These are everyday moments.
Okay, Part 3, how to implement SEL daily.
The golden question is, how do we actually weave this in without losing a single minute of instructional time? It's easier than you'd think. Morning circle time establishes immediate connection. Quick reflection journals build that vital self-awareness we just talked about. And simply structuring a few more peer discussions naturally fosters relationship skills. Boom! Simple, right?
It's also about how you teach. You can easily tweak your standard lessons to be a bit more activity-based. Throw in some role play or storytelling to safely explore empathy. Or use inquiry-based discussions so students are practicing critical thinking and decision-making out loud, together as a group.
And yes, you can absolutely assess this stuff. You can use rubrics that specifically score active participation and behavior, not just the final right answer. You might use observation checklists while they do independent work, but honestly, the most powerful method? Have the students assess their own emotional growth. That puts the steering wheel completely in their hands.
Now, zooming out to a macro level for a second, SEL truly thrives when it's a whole school approach. It can't just live in one isolated classroom. We need teachers actively modeling these behaviors in the hallways. We need parents deeply involved and understanding the language. And ideally, it's formally integrated right into the curriculum by administration. The whole ecosystem has to be on board.
Which leads us nicely into Part 4, the evidence-based advantages.
Look, the data on this goes way beyond just making kids feel happy and calm.
Yes, for sure, it reduces anxiety and builds stronger relationships, but here's the real game changer. Evidence shows it fundamentally improves academic performance. When a student isn't overwhelmed by stress or social drama, their cognitive capacity frees up, and guess what? Their test scores naturally go up. This hits the nail on the head for what we call holistic education. We're shifting away from what can you memorize to what can you actually do in the real world. It perfectly aligns with competency-based learning. At the end of the day, this is about real-life readiness, preparing them for modern society, not just the next pop quiz. I absolutely love this quote. SEL is not an extra subject. It is the foundation of all learning. Think about what a massive paradigm shift that is. For years, emotional skills were seen as a distraction from real academic work. But this tells us that SEL isn't just more food we're cramming onto the plate. Actually, it is the plate. Without it, the whole shebang just falls apart.
And finally, wrapping up with Part 5, taking the first step.
So, where do we begin? You start small. Seriously, you do not need to reinvent the wheel or rewrite your entire syllabus tonight. Just one 2-minute breathing exercise or one thoughtful reflection prompt a day will spread like wildfire and spark a massive transformation over the school year.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge to shake up your routine. Think about those competencies we covered. What is your one single SEL practice going to be tomorrow? Pick just one thing, try it out, and watch how it shapes not just your lesson plans, but the actual human beings sitting in your classroom. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.